everyone. I am Rebecca Cummings, publisher of the Kailua Town magazine, and I'm so excited and happy to be here with Martin Day at Prime Martial Arts. Is it Prime Martial Arts?
Prime Martial Arts.
Okay,
That's
we can
right.
redo that, or we can things to figure out before you start taping a podcast. So yeah, thank you so much for sitting down with us. This is episode number 7. And I just found out that 7 is your favorite number.
7 is my favorite number, so that's perfect.
That's awesome. And you are the 7th kid in the family?
That's right, yeah. So we got episode 7, 7th kid, and today's not the 27th. I almost thought it was the 27th. But anyway, yeah, I come from a big family. I'm number 7. There's 9 kids total. Okay. And so I'm on the younger side. But it's been awesome growing up with a big family. You know, anyone who grew up with a big family who has a good relationship with their brothers and sisters, you know, they can tell you it's awesome growing up with a big. Oh yeah, for sure.
So why don't we get started and just sort of talk about growing up? Where were you born?
I was actually born in Japan, and my parents were missionaries. My dad was a real hippie dude back in the day in the '60s, and he actually got drafted to Vietnam. Or they tried to draft him, I should say. But what had happened was he was going to leave the next day on his deployment, and some high-ranking guy came and said, "Hey, dude, you're not leaving tomorrow. We're going to send you to Germany instead." So it turns out there's a law, was a law, where you can't be sent to the front lines if you're the only child. My dad's the only child of an only child, and maybe even another only child. I'm not sure. That many generations back. So anyway, they took him off the front line. He was supposed to come down on parachutes in Vietnam, and his entire squad was mowed down before they hit the ground. And so my dad probably would have been one of those. But no, he went to Germany and then traveled around there, and then ended up going to the Philippines where he met my mom. And they just started having kid after kid until I came around. And by the time I came around, they had done a bunch of work in the Philippines, and went to Japan where I was born. Got kicked out of Japan, the whole organization that they were in got kicked out, and came back to Hawaii, where my dad's actually from. My dad went to Kailua High School. Kailua boy, got Kailua High School class of '64, and he grew up over here, so it's cool that I get to come back over here and
How old were you when you guys moved here?
I was about 9 months old when we moved here.
Oh, so baby.
Yeah, I was just a little baby, and so even though I was born abroad, being Hawaii is all I know. I'm not a native Hawaiian, but I grew up a local boy, and all I know how to be is from Hawaii. So when we moved back from Japan, we lived in Makaha side.
Really?
Yeah. In a tent and a beach park kind of setup. On the Keao Beach Park.
Was that a decision your parents made, or was that like a financial?
It was more of a financial thing. Definitely financial. I mean, if my dad would have let us, we would have been in a house if we could. So yeah, it was a financial thing, and we were over there in West Side, and like a van tent situation. 7 kids. I was number 7 at that time. Well, I am number 7. I was the youngest at that time, I should say. But yeah, we lived over there. Then my dad ran into his good friend Carlos Andrade, who's a well-known kind of guy from back in the day, really good surfer from Kauai. He's actually from here too, but he had a spot in Kauai where he was like, "Hey man, come caretake my land in Kauai." So we flew over to Kauai, where we had a really small kind of shack. I think it was like a 1-bedroom. And so we lived over there until I think I was about 2.5 years old. And that was cool. I don't really remember that.
Right.
But from there, we had an opportunity to move to Hawaiian Homestead in the Big Island. I'm not sure how we got into Hawaiian Homestead. Like, as I mentioned, we're not native Hawaiian. My dad is Haole from here, and my mom is Filipino, 100% Filipina. So yeah, we ended up over there where my younger sibling, both my younger siblings were born. My younger brother was born in the Hawaiian Homestead area. And then we got a little piece of land in Fern Acres, which is part of the Puna area. Puna's huge, but yeah, we went over there, and it was a real rural part of the Big Island. It was a forest, but my dad bought the property. So yeah, we went over there, and we lived in tents over there for a long time. My older brothers landscaped the area and actually made it really nice. And when I was a little bit older over there, I think like 8 years old or so, they had finally built a small 2-bedroom house. my parents and all four sisters would sleep inside, and the boys would sleep outside in tents still. And we were still fully off the grid, no electricity or running water most of the time. And we had a water catchment, but it was awesome. And oh, by the way, we're all homeschooled.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom homeschooled all 9 of us kids.
Okay.
Which to me now that I have a kid, and anyone who has a kid, I mean, it's hard work, dude. It's like, I mean, I got 1 kid, and I don't even know how it's possible to have more than 1.
My brother has 4, and his wife is homeschooling, and it's like, only 2 of them are in school right now, but it's just like,
I know, it's
good
crazy.
Job.
Yeah. So my mom is a really special lady, and so she homeschooled all of us, and in conditions that were far from ideal for raising kids, like.
This episode is brought to you by Windward Jewelers, located at 600 Kailua Road next to Morning Brew. Windward Jewelers takes care of everything from watch battery changes to jewelry repairs to refurbishments to custom pieces. They're wonderful. I have so many pieces from Windward Jewelers, and Doug is amazing. So aloha, mahalo, Windward Jewelers.
And of course, there's a big age gap too in a lot of my siblings. Some of my older siblings really helped to raise me as well.
Okay.
So
how much older is like the oldest?
That's a great question. No, Cromwell is I'm pretty sure he's close to 50. I think he's 48, almost. He could be 50. No, I feel like we would have had a big birthday party for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he's almost 50. The youngest, she is almost 30. I think she's like 28 right now.
Okay.
And and we're all really close.
That's
and in
awesome.
fact, like Cromwell, he's the oldest, and me and him are super tight, even though there's a big age gap. And all of us are really close. 8 of us are still living in Hawaii, most of us on the island of Oahu.
Okay.
We have 1 in Texas, but she's trying to make her way back over here. She said she'll be back soon.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So when did you guys move to Oahu?
So we moved to Oahu in, I think it was 2000 or maybe 2001. And my dad grew up on Kaneohe Bay Drive, right kind of close to Kaneohe Yacht Club. That's where my grandparents were and stuff. And my grandmother, she was the last one alive, and she actually had to move with us in the Big Island in our house that we had over there. Okay. And she lived out the rest of her days over there, which wasn't very long. But when she passed away, my dad inherited the house he grew up in on the Bay Drive, 2-bedroom house on the Bay Drive. And so we were able to move over there. We sold our land on the Big Island and went over there. We were all homeschooled still, but that's kind of where I saw Grandmaster Bashaw and, started in martial arts. But I've had an interest in martial arts for as long as I can remember. Okay. I mean, with almost no outside exposure.
Yeah, because you were homeschooled and living in tents.
Yeah,
so
living in tents. TV. No TV. Yeah. We'd pop in a VHS sometimes, and I think we actually picked up a couple of channels where it's really fuzzy and stuff. But yeah, we were very little exposure to the outside, and as I mentioned, my dad was a missionary. Yeah. They were part of an organization called the Family, or the Children of God, which is well documented as a cult now. Okay. Anyway, so the family would we still had some of their rules, even though we weren't really part of it anymore. Sure. So there would be like films that were recommended or not recommended by the family. So for example, The Little Mermaid was not a recommended film because she wanted more out of life. Instead of just like, hey dude, you're a mermaid, just be a mermaid. Right. She wanted more. Another one would be anything to do with evolution or any kind of dinosaur. Okay. Like, oh wow. You had to it's a Christian organization. It's like, God made the world in 7 days. Anything that goes against that, you're absolutely not allowed to watch. So I grew up, and my peers are like, you never seen Land Before Time? You never seen this? You're like, no, we weren't allowed to watch any of that kind of stuff. My parents would bend the rules a little bit. We did watch The Little Mermaid and Aladdin and pretty much any Disney film that came out that didn't have to do with dinosaurs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So how old were you when you moved here?
I was 11 years old when we moved here to Oahu. Yeah.
So middle school. And what was your first you said you were interested in martial arts, but what was the first time you really got to experience it?
My first memory of martial arts, besides maybe seeing something to do with like the Ninja Turtles when we went to Hilo Town or something like that, was one time we were running out of water in our water catchment. So we would go to park in the Big Island to refill big jugs and stuff so we could have water to wash clothes, shower with, and all that kind of stuff. And I saw this karate class going on. I don't know if it was a karate class. It was a bunch of kids in white uniforms. But they were, kicking, punching, and all in line. And I remember it just being one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And I remember asking my mom if we could do that. But, my dad's the only one working. We don't have a car. My dad had the only car, and we're stuck at home. It wasn't in the cards for me to be able to do that. And my neighbor would come home. He lived in very spread apart. Like I would walk over to his house, but he would show me his karate moves when he came home from class because he was training. And it was like pretty funny because he would say stuff like, "Oh yeah, you want to learn? Today I learned how to count in karate." Anyway, so he was my first teacher. But my real first experience was over here in an event. And, if you've been in Kailua for a long time, you might remember we used to have these Sunset on the Beach events. Yeah. And Master Bashaw was my first instructor, and they were doing a martial arts demonstration on Sunset on the Beach. Okay. I signed up to win a 2-week free trial.
Oh, nice.
Which is, looking back on it, everybody wins. I use the same tactic. And
everyone gets a 2-week free trial.
Yeah.
Gets you in, yeah.
So anyway, hey, they called me, you won the 2-week free trial. And so I went in and I trained as many times as I could in that 2 weeks. Yeah. And when it was over, we couldn't continue. It was me and my older brother, Justin, because, finances were still tight and stuff like that. But Master Bashaw, being the guy he is or was, he gave me the opportunity to clean up and to pay for my tuition. And or at least for most of it. And my older sister Monica actually she had just got her first job, and so she decided to pay for some of my tuition.
No way.
So that was super cool. So I became like an expert mopper, mirror cleaner, dojang cleaner, and to this day, man, like, if I walk in here, I need it to be like...
That's what you just... You're like, look, I'm sorry, it's so messy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It looks really good to me.
Before I even knew anything about martial arts, I knew how to keep a martial arts school clean.
That's awesome.
Which is important. It's really, really important in anything that you do, right? So,
So for everyone that, just so we're clear, Master Bashaw, he started and ran martial arts company, right?
Yeah.
For
long time.
decades.
So he started in 1998. It was called Bashaw's Academy of Taekwondo when he started. Okay. And it's the timing of this is crazy, and how we're talking about this because just a week and a half ago he passed away. Yeah. And I got to have a conversation with him where he couldn't talk back to me because of the state that he was in, but he was fully aware and making eye contact. And I told him he has a legacy and it's living on, and we got his picture on the wall, and so he's definitely smiling down.
That's awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, I met him when I first took over the magazine in 2014, actually. And so he advertised for a little bit, but I knew him. And so I'm glad that I got to know him a little bit, but I'm very glad you were able to, you're like continuing his legacy in a way, and got to say goodbye, and that's wonderful.
He was huge with community involvement, and it's something that I take with me too. So he what I learned from him was everything, right? To do with running a martial arts school. Yeah. But one big thing was, and it's something that really sets Prime apart too, is the community involvement and the level of which we do that. Yeah. So I'm a huge believer that you have to use what you're good at to be able to give back to your community or something without expectation of anything in return. And so for me, I'm best at doing martial arts and teaching martial arts. So I'll get into the schools on a regular basis. I'll do this probably on an average of 3 to 4 times a month, where I go into the elementary schools and talk to students, career days, just a regular classroom talk. I mean, sometimes the teachers all gang up and we do like a big an assembly or something like that. But that's something that I learned from him, that he would always do that kind of thing. And giveaways like for students like myself who couldn't afford it or didn't have the means to be able to do it. And so I still continue to do that for students here and there, and it's important, to give people that opportunity that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Did he notice in you like an ability in martial arts right away, or did that sort of evolve?
I think I did have a pretty good athletic ability right off the bat, and it's helpful, especially with how my career turned out as a professional fighter. Yeah. But it's nowhere near everything that you need. It's what I always see in martial arts, and I tell this to parents all the time, especially with kids, because here we teach a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Our enrollment here is about 80% kids, maybe more than that.
Okay.
And when I say kids, I probably say like 2.5 to 16 years old.
Yeah.
So it's not the ones who are the most physically gifted or athletically talented that really reap the benefits of long-term martial arts training.
Yeah.
It's the ones where they have the most family support.
Okay.
Because kids are gonna come to a time in their training where it's gonna be like, I don't want to do this anymore, having a hard day or whatever. And then when you have mom or dad, you know what, we're gonna show up today anyway because we said we were, and then kind of get them over that hump.
Yeah.
And then after a while, martial arts training becomes integrated into their lifestyle.
Okay.
And you know, I wake up, I go to school, I train martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the real benefit of martial arts lies. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. We see kids show up here, and after the first week, they're already listening better at home, and you know, there's a better level of attention, things like that. But like the real solid long-term skills that you take with you into like high school and adulthood and parenthood, those are the ones you really want to use, you know, and that's what you get from long-term training. And so, I'm sorry. So the parent involvement is key, and to get them over those humps, and you know.
Do you, when you have new students, do you let the families know this is really, or is that just sort of something you wait to let them figure out?
No, but I let them know.
Yeah.
So I tell them like, hey, you know, if you really want your kid to be involved in this for a long period of time, your involvement as a parent is incredibly important. You know, you want to come watch your child. I say at least once or a week or every couple of weeks if you can. You don't just want to just drop them off and let them go.
So parents are encouraged to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love when the stands are filled with parents and they're watching. Cool. There's a ton of sports where coaches are like, no, we don't want parents here and stuff. But.
Oh yeah, I was dropped off. I played soccer and basketball and things. And I was like, drop your kid off and pick
I mean,
up.
and I can understand that. But we create a good culture here, and we're blessed with such a respectful group of students and parents. So everyone knows what the dynamic is of each and every relationship. And you know, over here the teachers teach and the parents watch and support. Yeah, that's awesome. And the kids and the students train. Okay. And yeah, that's important to know at any sport or anything like that.
Yeah.
And,
so you started really when you were 11, sounds like.
Well, actually no. So I moved here when I was 11, and when I saw Grandmaster Bashaw at that event, I was 13 years old. Okay. 2002. Okay. And that's when I signed up for that trial, and he got me going, and then man, like I started competing almost right away too. Okay. So
did you start winning?
No, I actually was losing a lot in the beginning. Okay. I love to compete. Maybe that comes from being such a big family. Yeah. And my family, we grew up doing water stuff. Okay. I was the only one doing a land thing. Okay. So all my family surf, everybody paddles. I'm the only one of my siblings that didn't paddle for an organized club. Most of my siblings paddle for Kailua Canoe Club. Okay. And anyway, so I started competing, and there would be times where our school, Bashaw's Academy of Taekwondo, wasn't even involved in the tournament. Okay. I would have my mom sign the waiver. Okay. Or I would just forge the signature. And
everything worked out fine.
And I would take the bus.
Oh wow! Okay.
I'd go alone. I've taken the bus to tournaments in Wahiawa where I was alone, no coach or anything, and compete. Okay. I mean, one time I was like, I had no guidance, so I would just fight anybody. And one time I was 15 years old, and I took the bus to this tournament. The only guys in my division was kickboxing rules. Okay. Only guys was this big kid who was 17 years old, and he was 280 pounds. This other one was like 240, I think it was. 220. He weighed at 220. Okay. And I was 115 pounds. And so the medium-sized guy got the bye. So he was automatically in second place because there's 3 people in our division. And I had to fight the 200 and the big guy. Yeah. And so I won that one by kicking him in the head a bunch of times, and then I won the other one. But stuff like that would happen to me all the time, and I love to compete, and specifically I love to fight. Okay. Yeah.
That is really interesting. It doesn't sound like it, but I don't know. Did you, like with your older siblings, were you guys competitive? Did you guys end up sort of fighting?
Yeah, I think everyone in my family is pretty competitive. Yeah. My older brother CJ, he's a pretty well-known guy around Kailua. He actually owns Timmy T's, the other Timmy T's, not the one in Kailua, but the other one. Okay. Anyway, he's probably stands out in my head as the most competitive, maybe even more than me.
Okay.
Which is why he'll probably watch this and I'll just eat him up inside that I can beat him up. No, I'm just kidding.
CJ Martin really loves you.
No, but yeah, I think just the nature of us being only us growing up together. There's no other kids to compete with, so it's just us. And my wife will tell me things like, I didn't learn how to do things that you learn from other kids, like throw a ball or run. So apparently I run funny. I remind her that I was a professional athlete.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Okay, so this is a question. Looking back, so you were homeschooled and you graduated from high school homeschooled. Did you ever go
No,
to...
actually, so I'm glad you asked that. I didn't clarify that. I was the first in my family to graduate from a regular high school.
Okay.
So being number 7, one of the youngest, we moved over here and we wanted to go to school because, we're like close to other things, in the Big Island, everything is far. Over here, we're like, we can ride our bike to Kailua, 15-minute, 20-minute bike ride and stuff. And then, but my mom had breast cancer.
Okay.
So she couldn't homeschool us really anymore. She was going through like pretty hardcore chemo.
Okay.
She's fine now. She's strong. She's probably where we get our fighting spirit from.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I ended up going to Kalaheo for 10th grade.
Okay.
And my younger siblings went to Kailua Intermediate and Akahi Elementary School.
Okay.
Moana, she's the youngest, and she was born in Hilo Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, so I became the first in my family to graduate from a regular school and have a pretty normal high school experience with prom and, friends and and the opportunity to play sports, but I didn't because I only did Taekwondo after every day.
So what was that transition like? Did you just get in and make friends immediately and it was all good? Or was it all rough?
It was rough at first. So first of all, I will say, if it wasn't for the confidence that I developed in martial arts, I would have been totally screwed because I was a very shy kid. Okay. When we first moved here at 11, 12 years old, I'd be like that kid in the pool, just like twiddling my thumbs. Like if we show up to a playground, I would just like sit on the side, wouldn't play with anyone. I mean, even talking to people now, to be honest with you, I rather wouldn't. Yeah. But
thank you for sitting down here.
But now though, I do enjoy like a conversation like this I'm having now, and a lot of that is just from the confidence that I've got from martial arts. So when I went to high school, when I was 15, 10th grade year, I was really shy.
Okay.
And I didn't have a lot of friends. There was this one guy that I knew who just so happened to be a pretty popular guy in school that knew me from doing Taekwondo here.
Oh, nice.
So, he would like hang out with me, which his name was Cody. And so I was like, yeah, right on, Cody, for doing that when I look back on it.
Are you still in touch with him?
Yeah, I still see him from time to time. He's a Kailua boy. He grew up around here, and so I see him from time to time. But yeah, my 10th grade year, I was also a great student in school. I had really good grades. I think I was like top 15 in my whole class or something like that, and I did good. But man, by the time I was a senior, bottom of my class, and just like too cool for school.
Oh no!
I really blossomed.
Blossomed socially, but not in other ways.
Yeah, so I mean, I was like, another thing that comes with martial arts, like I mentioned, is the confidence you get. But I was also fighting and stuff too, which, apparently in high school is pretty cool. So, and then I was really good working for Master Bashaw, so I was making money and everything, so I was able to get a car and, apparently moderately good looking when I was in high school. So I was, I had a lot going for me, and so I had a good time. But yeah, so high school ended up being an awesome experience for me. I mean, and
good.
Yeah, and I was fighting and competing and all that stuff all throughout that time too, in kickboxing mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, I guess when you were younger, but then when you got to high school, what did you want to be when you grew up? Was there like something you aspired to?
All I ever wanted to be.
Fighter?
Was
that a thing?
No, it wasn't a thing. Like I didn't even know I wanted to be a professional fighter. I was just competing because I loved to compete, and I was doing martial arts. Okay. And there was always like the coaches would try to get me to play football and stuff like that, but I was always I got training after school. So I just loved to compete, and that was it. So sorry, I kind of forgot what you just asked me.
So basically, like, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a martial artist, ninja, whatever. But then I wanted to own my own martial arts school, club, something. Okay. Like I was like 14, 13 years old, drawing out on a layout of a sheet of paper what my school would be at. Punching bags here, office. I had a list. I had a list on a notebook of names that my martial arts school would be. And
Was Prime
I was
one of
like,
them?
no,
Okay.
it was like usually I was a kid, so
Yeah.
it had the word ninja or warrior or something like
Okay.
that in it.
Yeah.
Prime, I just decided to go with something a little bit more conventional, I guess, brandable. So, yeah, so that's what I really wanted to be. And
Okay.
I wanted to do martial arts and for as long as I can remember. And people would try to pull me in different directions just naturally, and they have
Sure.
they're good-hearted, right? Like people would be like, oh, go to college, get a degree in this or this, or when you're around a senior in high school, you start to try to get recruited by the military. And I considered that, like, oh, be a military. And like, oh, I get done with high school, like, oh, I'm gonna go try and become a fireman or something like that. And I would always consider all these things, but then it always circled back like to martial arts again, because that's really what my passion was or is. And even up until like, even to my maybe even late 20s, it's like, maybe I should go like be in the guard or go apply for police academy or something. It always came back to martial arts, and I'm happy because now we have this beautiful school that we're sitting in, and I get to do it full time and train everyone from a brand new 2.5-year-old to professional MMA fighters. So it's awesome.
So we'll get into the school, in a minute. But I'm curious, when did competing like professionally, when did the UFC thing, like what's that journey? How did that happen? When did it happen?
I was, like I mentioned, I was fighting amateur kickboxing for a long time throughout my first fight when I was 15.
Well, when you win, do you win money?
So that's the difference, obviously, between professional and amateur.
Yeah.
And usually in any kind of fighting, you usually get you have the contract to show up and fight, and so that's usually this much money, and then X amount if you win, and X amount if you get some kind of knockout or some kind of an incentive. Most organizations will have that so that you press the pace when you fight.
Yep.
Because people want to see finishes. People love knockouts, except for the guy who's getting knocked out. Anyway, so
and his family.
Yeah,
his mom
yeah.
is not happy.
Yeah, and I have a whole thing about that too. But anyway. I was competing in kickboxing for a long time. I have a perfect undefeated amateur kickboxing record with a close to 100% knockout rate. I actually only have one amateur kickboxing fight that went to decision. That was actually a draw.
Oh, wow.
So the rest of my fights were 100% win rate with all knockouts or TKOs. Yeah. I think a TKO is technically a knockout, TKO. Yeah. And then I started to train in MMA when I was about, dabbled when I was 21-ish, and I wasn't serious. I kind of went through a little bit of a party phase when I was 20 to 23.
Didn't everyone?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so I started really getting focused in training when I was, refocused when I was about 23. And then I went undefeated as an amateur in MMA, mixed martial arts, 3-0. With all finishes also, all knockouts. And then my coaches at the time, those are my coaches, they said, were like, hey man, you ready to turn pro? I remember it being a pretty scary thing for me to turn pro.
Were your coaches at martial arts company? Who were your coaches?
No, so.
What did that,
Yeah, so my main coach growing up, who really instilled in me not just boxing, but also a lot of life skills, was Coach Buster. Kenneth Hagelgans, and it's a picture of him right there, and another one, me standing next to him. So so he was he was a real big figure in my life as far as really the life skills that you get out of martial arts. He was the main guy that gave me those things, like being a man of your word, working hard, just all kind of stuff. He's the man. So most of my martial arts mindset comes from him. Anyway, so he trained me up for all my amateur kickboxing fights, and even my professional ones too, because I have a handful of those. But when I started fighting in MMA, neither him or Grandmaster Bashaw had the ability to coach me in that, because there's different dynamics in mixed martial arts, from wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all kind of stuff that, training in just taekwondo or just boxing or kickboxing it's not going to do it for you. So I went over to Hawaii Elite MMA, which was training at Gracie Technics at the time, and I'm still with both places. I still train jiu-jitsu 3 times a week over at Gracie Technics in Kalihi. They have some big names out of there like Max Holloway and Yancy Medeiros, and I was blessed to be able to train with these guys since I was amateur. Hawaii Elite MMA now has its own big location in Waipahu, huge, beautiful school. Charles Kipili was my head coach and great striking coach, and he's running the show over there, and I get to go over there as the the seasoned vet sometimes and get my mind picked by a lot of the younger up and coming fighters and stuff. And yeah, it's great. So those guys were my MMA coaches, Rylan Lazaris, Charles Kipili, and guided me through an undefeated amateur record. And then when it was time to turn pro, I went. I think I was like up to 5-0. I had my first loss to 5-1, and the UFC picked me up on Halloween Day in 2018.
Okay.
It was a few months after I had a really big knockout against an undefeated prospect who they just kind of sent me in there to get smashed, and I ended up knocking him out.
Nice.
So I was on the UFC's radar, and they picked me up on October 31st, 2018. I still remember the moment. You know, guys work for that moment their whole life and fall short. So yeah, I fought in the UFC from 2018 to 2021, and when I got done with when I fought out my contract or got cut from the UFC, and then I tried to make a comeback. You know, I did a smaller event in Florida, and you know, I got finished on that fight. And then that's why I was kind of like, you know, when I was 25, it would like, I would go in there, and the mindset you have to have is, for me at least, and I think most fighters will agree with this, is the mindset you have to have is you got to go in there not only willing to die, but willing to kill somebody too.
Yeah.
And you know, the chances of you dying or you killing someone is very low, because there's a referee. But it's the mindset that really sets that apart. And so like 25, you just don't give a F, you know what I mean? You're gonna go in there, probably not the best IQ I had, but I was ready to just go. And so that's why I had a lot of early finishes. And then so what happened was in my last MMA fight, the one I lost, was like, I kind of lost that a little bit. And you know, I had a kid on the way who was due in like a month. I shouldn't have even been there. And yeah, I didn't really have that mindset. Like, you know, I have a kid on the way. I don't want to die in here. I mean, shoot, I don't want to kill anyone either. And you know, so it's like, kind of, I think I lost that a little bit, and I recognized that during the fight where shots that wouldn't have hurt me so much hurt me, and so I stepped out of there and I made a decision. Like, I think I'm done with MMA. But I have still fought kickboxing a few times. I find kickboxing to be more enjoyable. It's kind of my thing. It's what I started with. Like I mentioned, I hold an undefeated professional kickboxing record with a 100% knockout rate, and no one's trying to take me down.
Nice.
And so that's my favorite.
That's cool. That's awesome. I think that's important, and it's also, you know it because you experienced it, but you're also probably watching kids who are as young as 2.5 to, you know, in high school and, you know, a little bit older. But I have a brother, so, you know, personal experience. When boys, young men are in their like mid to late teens, man, it's like they want to fight. They're right all the time. You know what I mean? It's this like attitude, which is a good thing and for a reason, you know what I mean? But that for sure helps you fighting. And then as you get, now he's got 4 kids, you know, he's sort of like, I gotta like rein it in.
But there's still that thing. There's still that thing as a guy, at least for, I don't know. I don't
He's doing jujitsu with his boys. So
nice. Nice. Yeah. Like for me, like sometimes I just wish somebody would try to fight me right now. And it's not even because they don't like me or whatever. It's just for fun.
That's like picking a fight with a fighter you don't know is a fighter, and you just got into the wrong situation.
No, I've had guys like, you know, like, it's funny, I posted on social media, like this guy outside was like, basically you wanted to fight me. He was like, but I'm not gonna do that for someone who actually wants to fight with me. I'm never, if someone calls me out on the street when I go outside, I'm not gonna engage. And if they swing at me, I might block. Maybe I might take them down or something, or try to neutralize the situation. But the only reason I'll fight somebody is for fun. I'm never gonna fight somebody because I don't like them on the the street, or you know. Fighting is a fun thing to me, and it is good to be able to defend yourself. Even that's kind of fun.
According to some people.
That's
so cool.
You know, it's good.
So when your relationship with and your involvement in martial arts company throughout were you always still kind of teaching, or did you take a step back to focus on your career during that time?
I mean, the great thing was that you got to have a job coming up as an up-and-coming fighter, because in fighting, you're making no money. I mean, very little. I mean, just to give people an idea, like your first MMA fight, you're probably getting paid $200 to fight, $200 to win.
Really?
Yeah. And that's actually, I mean, it could be less than that.
Wow.
I mean, It's bad.
Okay.
You're not going to make money at all in your career unless you
Yeah.
get signed to a big organization.
Got it.
So I tell up and coming fighters, you don't train for money. You're not fighting for money.
Right.
You're fighting to get into a big organization.
Okay.
So you gotta keep the end goal in mind, right?
Yeah.
I'm really a huge believer in anything in life, not just fighting. Look at what you want to be like down the road at the peak, and then work backwards from there.
Yeah.
You know, and you hear it from a lot of people: put the end first, and then do what you got to do to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, in the UFC, you're good.
Okay.
You don't have to work unless you want to.
Right.
But for me, I was blessed because I could go show up to work, but I could also train before and after. I could hit pads, hit the bag.
Right.
I could always on the mat, to some degree, whether it's something like stretching or whatever. But simultaneously, while I'm in the UFC and while I'm fighting, I'm also working and running the school where I'm learning how to run the ins and outs of a martial arts school. And so when I switched over from fighting to more of a full-time, opening my own school, it's a seamless transition now.
Nice. Yeah.
And because I was running as a general manager of a martial arts company, which we didn't mention this, but Bishaw's Academy of Taekwondo went through several name changes and ended up as being martial arts company. So I was a general manager of that place and really running it from really top to bottom for the last several years of its existence.
Okay.
And then so when I came to this place, it's like, man, I already knew how to do everything.
Yeah.
And so that was super key. And then when you combine that with my experience as a athlete and a fighter, it's a good combination.
For sure.
So, that we've had a ton of success here at Prime, and it's good.
That's awesome. And you're actually, I was kind of like, I've met you a couple times, but I don't know you super well. So I was trying to find some info about you, and I was looking through social media, and you guys just celebrated 1 year. Open, right?
Yeah. So we made 1 year on October 5th, and I can't believe how fast it's flown.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like we've only been here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And
the time is flying, but that's awesome. So in martial arts company, did you ever officially own that, or were you just running it and then Master Bashaw sort of retired and stepped away?
Yeah. I did own it.
Okay.
Master Bashaw's health was kind of bad for the last couple of years. A year and a half of his life, he suffered a stroke in January 2025, and he was in bad shape.
Okay.
And then so it was the right time for me to be able to take care of him and his family financially while being able to take over the school, which is always the plan. He would always say, hey man, this is gonna be yours. He knew that the legacy was gonna continue.
When did he start saying that?
Oh, he was saying that since I was 18 years old.
Okay.
He was like, no, he was training me to do exactly what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
He was getting me ready for it.
That's awesome.
And he got me ready for it so well, well, because I'm so well prepared.
Yeah.
So when it came time to do that, although he was in a wheelchair, he was bedridden, he couldn't talk, and but I could see it in his eyes that it was time. And we had meetings and conversations, and he was present, and I told him it's happening now, and he was and is happy for me.
Good.
All the way up to the very end. And
that's awesome.
So I did own martial arts company, to answer your question, during the tail end of its existence. But we're only talking 6, 7, 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of people thought I owned it for a lot longer because I was really kind of the face of it and running it from a day to day. I mean, Master Bashaw didn't have to show up if I was there.
That's awesome.
And he got me to be able to get to that point.
Okay.
So
transitioning to Prime, do you do anything different here that didn't happen at martial arts company? Are there differences?
Yeah.
Progression?
There are some differences just in my personality as a person, as opposed to Grandmaster Bashaw's. Grandmaster Bashaw was Navy frogman, which was the equivalent of a Navy SEAL during Vietnam, I might add.
Okay.
So this guy was
interesting.
Just the mindset of a human being at that level is different.
Yes.
You start talking about frogman, Navy SEAL, these guys are built different mentally.
Yeah.
And so he was in the Navy, and he was a very rigid, old school kind of a guy. I remember on one of my first days, I didn't know this long thing called chunji, which is something we still do. It's a traditional martial arts form. Okay. But these forms have these long meanings because they're named after these Korean dudes from back in the day. Okay. Korean historical figures. Okay.
Show the respect.
Anyway, he's like, what's the meaning of chunji? God, I don't know what that is, dude, sir. And then he drop down and give me 50 push-ups on your knuckles. Watch me do all 50. But that's how it was back then. Doing the splits, pushing kids down. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, if we did that now, we might get sued. So that kind of stuff is different. It's, we're a lot more nurturing now. But we're developing badass martial art athletes here too. I mean, like the approach we take. I mean, our black belts. I'm very proud of the abilities that they're you can't. I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit biased because this is my school. But if you walk into a martial arts school and the abilities of the black belts, maybe you have one or two standouts. Like our black belts, the kinds of high level kicks that they can perform, every single one of them can perform it.
Wow. Okay.
And maybe some are better than others, of course. But like, there's schools that you can't walk into and see every black belt being able to do the things that our black belts can do. And also the life skills that they have. They're solid individuals, and every single one of my instructors are homegrown in this establishment or through martial arts company. But either which way, I've trained them. And we have a kid who's 19. He's been here since he was a tiny tiger cub, 2.5. We've got 2 of our instructor interns right now. They're 16 years old. Been here since they were 4. I kind of like strayed off from the question that you asked. I don't even remember it, but.
No, that's fine. Just what's different about Prime?
Oh yeah, so the rigidity of my teaching style is different. Like for me, Master Bashad, he used to make sure people address you as Master Day. For me, I don't really care so much if someone calls me Master or not. I mean, yeah, sure, it's my title, it's a respect thing, and you know, people will call me that, but I'm not gonna correct them and say like, if your name. Hey, Mr. Day, Master Day. It's not going to be like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's whatever. Cool. And so him having the background, the military background, made him very like rigid. But we still carry a lot of that with us. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's always said over here. The gesture of bowing is very important. We do all that stuff. We start classes traditionally, and that kind of stuff. I feel is really important in martial arts. And what's even more important than that stuff is the skills that we learn through self-control, respect, discipline, because those are the skills, right, that are going to be able to take you to new levels on the mat as a martial artist, and also you'll be able to utilize them when you step off the mat in everyday life and no matter what you do. And that's the true core of being a martial artist. That's why martial arts exists in everything that you do in life, and it's not it's not like your sick roundhouse kick. It's the skills that made you have a sick roundhouse kick. And that's discipline, work ethic, self-control. All that stuff is directly transferable to anything that you do.
And one thing we were talking about before we started, you met your wife in high school. And you guys are, and so I think there's a correlation there. I mean, you have to meet the right person, right? But like, you're committed, you're a good father, and that doesn't exist all the time these days. So
I mean, martial arts produces strong people. That's really needed, and strong for your family and for your kids, and to set a good example. You know what I mean? Like, there's this quote that circulates on social media sometimes. You might have seen it, where it's like, you'd say you'd die for your kids, but would you change your habits for them? You know what I mean? Would you do things differently? It's like, and it's not just you eating healthy or like you acting good in front of them. You know what I mean? It's everything from like how you carry yourself, how you treat your wife or husband, how you interact with other people. I mean, heck, even how you're driving your 3-year-old to school. Like if your 3-year-old's seeing you drive to school and you're getting all snappy in traffic.
Cursing out the window. And
it's like, bro, you think that's a good example? I mean, self-control, right? Like I said, transferable to everything that you do in life.
That's awesome.
That's martial arts.
Very cool.
So that's the goal here is to create as many human beings that way as possible, who are proficient in self-defense and basically badass and can spin and kick you in the head, but have a high level of self-control and respect and all that
awesome
stuff.
There's a lot of talk right now about kind of millennials and the new generation, and are you seeing a difference in kids from when you were teaching when you were like 18?
Yeah, you know what? I think I do. I don't know. I feel like with Master Bashad's teaching style, he was able to maintain a successful business with that.
Right.
We would not be able to maintain a successful business with that anymore, I don't think. But I think partially that's a good thing. It's a really good question. Without sounding too biased towards me as my generation,
is like honest answers.
I think the toughness was there, and I think it's because I don't know, I got lickings as a kid.
Yeah.
I said the word darn one time and got my mouth rinsed out with soap and smacked. And I'm not saying that's a good thing.
Right.
What I'm saying is that, it kind of makes you tougher to a degree. I'm not vouching for that kind of parenting or anything like that, but I think that was more of that kind of stuff going on, and more of just basically fending for yourself as a kid. Hey, I go play outside, play in the dirt, and you kind of didn't have a choice because you don't have an iPad.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't even have a TV or something. So, your interaction with other people goes up. It's just the whole thing. And then now we're more in front of a screen, more on technology, and less interactions with people and less physical output. So I think a combination of all those things has made this generation possibly, for the most part, just a little bit less physical.
Okay.
And so to answer your question, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do see a difference. And I had to kind of talk myself through that. But that being said, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. And then the same thing with our generation with my dad then.
Oh, yeah.
My dad was my dad told a story. I was hanging out with my dad across the street at the restaurant with some of his old high school buddies.
Yeah.
And my dad was telling a story of him and his friend, how they took their El Toro sailboat when they were 13 years old. And it was, we're going to sail out of Kailua Bay and into Kailua Bay. And it was dark. And my dad calls my grandmother and oh, Mom, can you pick us up? She's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Imagine your 12-year-old doing that now. You might have a heart attack and die. Because,
or your parents would be arrested or something.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, but then it's I just sailed my El Toro. I wanted to stay in Kailua Bay, but ended up in Kailua. And called from his friend's house in Kailua.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So, the generations change every time, right? And there's pros and cons to everything, and we just gotta roll with it and take it as it is and do our best with it.
And you guys start as young as 2.5.
Yeah.
Kids. Is there a benefit, do you think? Why so young?
We start at 2.5, and I think from what I've seen in my research and from networking with other martial arts schools all over the country is that's the youngest in the world.
Yeah. I believe it,
a standard,
kids are barely walking at 2.
Yeah. A standard for martial arts schools to start is 6, sometimes 4.
Okay.
And we've had students come to us at 4 or 5 and get turned away from other local martial arts schools.
Because they're too young.
Well, just they have a high energy and maybe they just don't want to deal with them.
I got it.
For us, my mindset is if I can't be if I see a child who's in class and they're maybe being disruptive or something like that, and I train my instructors to be this way too. This is a huge thing that I live by as a martial arts instructor, is you got to take personal responsibility that your effectiveness as a martial arts instructor is not enough for you to gain this child's attention and keep it. Now, maybe this kid is a high energy. Yeah. Maybe he had a rough day, maybe whatever, but it's never ever because he's a bad kid.
Okay.
And it's only ever because you're not effective as a teacher. And when we take that personal responsibility, it's freeing for everybody, because you're not blaming other how does this kid get treated at home, or his mom is not here, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's you're taking personal responsibility, and then you get to grow as an instructor and a martial artist, because you're hey, what's another angle I can take at this? Maybe this kid needs this angle, maybe he needs this. And so that is the real game changer, I believe, for anyone who's in any kind of leadership
that makes
role.
Sense.
Take full responsibility. And so, going back to your original question, 2.5 years old starting is really basic motor skill development. Okay. And our Tiny Tiger Cub curriculum revolves around 8 motor skill development skills. Okay. Each one is represented by a different color, because kids, they love to perform and be able to earn that stripe on their belt, and it keeps them motivated for the next one. It's make sure you're sitting up straight so you can get your stripe today, and it's huge for them.
Yeah.
So, for example, there's kicking and punching, and it's very basic.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. A 2.5-year-old can put their hands up, they can make a proper fist, and they can stand sideways, and they can roll their thumb down when they punch.
Okay.
And if you make any excuses as to why they can't, then your effectiveness as an instructor is not there, right? So that's why our instructors are so rigidly trained on how to be able to handle any age group. And so they can do that. But then the other motor skills is like catching, falling, rolling, and hopping. So there's 8 of them total. And when they get all 8 of those different skills, they can test the new belt, in which it resets, and then we expect a little bit higher level of performance in the next belt, and so on. And the main thing about that is they're getting into the uniform, and they feel like a martial artist, and they're being in a positive environment, and getting the introduction to martial arts in all aspects. Everything from saying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And and the respect part is really simple for them. Listen to your mom, look in the eyes of someone when they're talking to you. And all that goes back to martial arts training and can be directly related to either side, non-martial arts or martial arts.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just thinking while you were talking, and as we've been talking, because you've met and fought with and trained with some heavy fighters. I mean, like, is that across the board what you encounter with, or not always?
Fighters are, most MMA fighters are martial artists first. And most of them grew up doing a traditional martial art, and that's how they got their foot in the door, just like how I did. And so what you see with most of them is the foundation of just respect and laid backness, and most of them will agree, like, I don't want to fight somebody because I don't like it. It's for fun. Right. We do this for fun, and you do it to get paid too eventually. But yeah, I've been blessed to train with some of the best guys on planet Earth. I was BJ Penn. I was his main sparring partner for a fight. Max Holloway has been a huge guy in my entire fight career, who has been kind of like a big brother to me, even though he's a little younger than me. He's really been a huge inspiration to me in my whole career. And we got his fight gloves over there. He actually did a class for our main opening, and he's helped me with a bunch of my fights, pretty much all of them. And I've been his sparring partner for a lot of his fights too. I've been able to train with Yancy Medeiros over here, who's another big name guy from Hawaii. I was brought in to train with Frankie Edgar in New Jersey for his entire training camp for Yair Rodriguez, and just a ton of really high level martial artists and fighters. And I've been able to be in the room with some of the best guys on planet Earth, sparring and all kind of stuff with them, and all of them super cool guys, super humble, and it's great, because that's how martial artists should be, and you put those at the forefront, those skills.
Do you is it more fun for you to be training for your own fight, or to be training someone for their fight?
I love being involved in the process, top to bottom, in any which way that I can be. So training for your own fight is not fun at all.
I can imagine.
I mean, there's fun times. You have success sometimes here and there, but for the most part, it's like nose to the grindstone, grueling. Better make sure you take your afternoon nap, because you're back at work again, It's a full-time job, maintaining a career as a professional fighter. And like I say, a lot of younger fighters will pick my brain, like, whatever you think if you want to be in the UFC, you have to start treating yourself as a UFC fighter now. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to fight at a lower weight class when I'm there because I don't want to cut the weight right now and diet. No, that's not how it works. You got to do it now, bro. Like, this is stuff your mindset has to be there already, because that's the only thing that can be there already.
Yeah, that makes
like,
sense.
Whatever you want to be, the only thing that can be there today is your mindset. Everything else got to catch up. So if you want to be the UFC champion of the world, or if you want to be a UFC or a business owner or whatever, guess what, bro? Your mindset has to be there too. And so the discipline has to reflect that. And then the skill is going to have to catch up. So that's what I always tell everybody,
That's good advice.
That
makes sense. For fighters or not fighters.
Anybody. It's like, I go talk to these kids at school talks, and it's the main thing I talk about. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Professional soccer player, or a doctor, or whatever, astronaut. And like, so whatever you want to be, like, let's say you want to be a professional soccer player. When would that start? Would that start at soccer practice later today? Yeah, that's when it would start. Nope, it's gonna start right now. How would a doctor be looking at the teacher in class? How would an astronaut, how would their mindset be as they go through their homework? You know what I mean? Like, how would the level of a discipline of a professional athlete be? Like, if you're sitting all slumped over, you can practice discipline.
Totally.
You can practice it in everything you do, and then it makes it stronger, right? So that's the mindset right now that's what it is. I'm all about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think that's awesome. So, kind of on the tail end of this, so you offer classes and programs for kids as young as 2.5 and adults too, right?
Yeah.
Like all the way up. So what's available?
Yeah, so we've branched off into different kind of styles. You know,
Okay.
Master Bashar's thing was just Taekwondo across the board. I've made even the Taekwondo a little bit more progressive.
Okay.
You know, things evolve.
Sure.
And if we trained martial arts like how it was meant to be trained in the ancient times, we would be just doing this for
beyond the times.
hours and hours.
Okay.
So we have to evolve. We have to be progressive with our approach into the physical aspect of martial arts. And my Taekwondo style reflects that.
Okay.
You know, we punch to the head and things like that. And you learn how to do that in a safe way. Well, when you're advanced, if you need to defend yourself, you're not going to be able to tell someone, hey, you can't punch me in the head, man. I haven't trained that. So that's important as for our traditional Taekwondo. And we've also offered now Muay Thai. We offer that. We got an awesome Muay Thai coach, Kevin Grace. He's got a wealth of knowledge of Muay Thai, trains in Thailand on a regular basis for long periods of time.
He was at UFC for a while,
He
right?
was, yeah, UFC
okay, I
gym,
know him.
yeah. And a lot of people know him from there too. He's been around the Kailua community quite a bit. We got boxing over here at 2 in the mornings, a Eskrima or Kali, which is the Filipino stick fighting.
Oh, okay.
Directly transferable to knife defense or anything when someone's attacking you with a stick.
Okay.
Or if you're holding a stick, which is really great for self-defense. And it's kind of a good workout too.
I believe it.
And we also offer kickboxing. I teach most of the kickboxing. My style is Taekwondo and kickboxing, so we kind of diversify a little bit. No grappling arts, you know, no jiu-jitsu or anything like that, and I like to keep it that way. We have a ton of jiu-jitsu and grappling in Kailua, and for me, I'm really big on positive relationships with everyone around me, community members. I value relationships over pretty much everything in life, and so I'm fine with just Taekwondo and striking and what my thing, you know.
I like it. That's great. Cool. And so as we're looking, it's almost September now. Oh God.
Yeah.
The year's flying by, but you have a 1-year anniversary coming up. Are you going to do anything like what's for the rest of the year? Like where can people find you? Are you going to be out and about? Like what's happening?
Man, well, first of all, if you drive through Kailua town, you're going to see us, especially if it's in the afternoon when we've got classes pumping. And we're going to be at the annual Kailua Fall Fest. Okay. We'll be doing a demonstration and a breakathon there.
It's a breakathon.
So a breakathon is, by the way, we're also doing the breakathon and demonstration at the Kainalu Fun Fair. Kainalu Elementary is having a fun fair. Okay. And so a breakathon is one way we raise money for a charitable cause. And so for the Kainalu one, they're trying to raise money for a new playground. And then for the Fall Fest, it's we're just going to donate the money to the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
And so what it is someone buys a board. And so when they buy the board, it's it's a breakable board. Well, it's a piece of wood. And they can break it themselves.
Okay.
Or they can have one of our team break it, which is super cool. And they can do really high flying things like like a 720 kick or just crazy kicks. And then I don't know exactly, maybe there'll be tiers or something like, hey, this board is worth this much for this high kick or this is a basic one. But anyway, it's super fun. You get to see some impressive martial arts on display, and you get to do it for a good cause, donating to the Boys and Girls Club, who are awesome and do a ton of things for the kids in the Kailua community. Okay. Yeah.
Are you doing anything to celebrate your 1 year?
You know what? It flew by so fast, and I've been so busy. I've been meaning to do something, but it's a little bit too far past it now. I think we'll catch it on the 2 years.
Okay, sounds good. Just curious. And then, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want people to know about you and about you and or Prime?
No, I mean, not really. Nothing in particular. Like, I just want people to know that I want the word martial arts, and not just with Prime martial arts, but martial arts in general, to be like synonymous with not an activity, but a life skill that is incredibly important for you to be able to learn. And I'm not promoting this just for Prime martial arts.
Yeah.
If you're in Waimanalo, or if you're in Waianae, or if you're in Wahiwa, go sign up, get your kids involved in martial arts, because it's not an activity. It's something that can literally save your life if you need it to. And it's something that you'll take with you in every aspect of your life for the rest of your life. And it's like that. It's like swimming. like, you don't see swimming as an activity unless you do it like for fun racing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you put your kid in swimming as a toddler, you know, the ISR swimming, which my kid did,
Okay.
because they fall in the water, you want them to live.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with martial arts. And so to me, swimming and martial arts are not activities.
Okay.
These are like life skills that you need to have, right? And so, yeah, you know, like get your kid in soccer, get them in all that kind of stuff, but keep them in martial arts forever.
Okay, that's awesome. And then one thing, as you were talking about your kid, when you talked about your huge family, I mean, I can't imagine. Are they just so proud of you? Like, what is their reaction to what your life has turned out to be so far?
I mean, man, like for a bunch of kids who were homeschooled and just studied Bible verses and learned how to basically the minimum of reading and writing and math, we actually all turned out to be pretty successful. I think, like, you know,
are they involved at all?
They're in well,
Prime?
No. But you know, my dad and them, they live in the Big Island now again. They retired over there, and they'll come by, and whenever they're here, they come here all the time because I have several family members in Hawaiian Airlines, so they get free flying.
Yeah.
And yeah, all of my siblings are all doing really well. I got my youngest sister is a pilot for Hawaiian. My brothers are all business owners, and everyone's doing great. My parents did a great job just with what they had, you know, huddled up in the tent with a bunch of homeschool books from Christian Liberty Academy that were like 100 years old.
That is wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So where can people find you? I mean, you are on the entrance to Kailua town, on the corner, right across from the Kalapawai, like right after the bridge when you come in.
Yep.
And where can people find you online, like social media, website?
Yeah. I mean, you can find me at 34 Spartan. That's my Instagram, and we're on Instagram with Prime Martial Arts Hawaii.
Okay.
We are our website is primemartialartshawaii.com.
Okay.
Give us a call, give us an email, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Does everyone get a 2-week free prize?
No. But if you want one, DM me, and we'll see what we can do. So yeah, we're actually close to capacity.
Really?
A wait list is already in effect for one of our programs,
That's
and
awesome.
a couple other are very close behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's congratulations.
Otherwise, they would get a 2-week.
Okay. But there's no need for that at this moment, so that's awesome. Well, congratulations on the success of this this new martial arts space and your career in general. And again, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Aloha, everyone.